What's up, Plebheads? I'm Neo, and I'm joined here tonight by my brother,
Jdog,
and super subscriber and fellow patron,
Dr. Flame.
And tonight is the No BS, yes, the salt is here, No BS review for Far Cry 5. How do you guys want to start? You want to start with the negative or the positive?
Positive, I guess.
Okay. I'll tell you what one of the coolest things I thought was, and it's also what I consider to be one of the worst things. I think their opening is awesome. Very, very creepy feeling. Now, we had a discussion before we started this video, guys, and the discussion was if this is your first Far Cry, this game is going to come off as really awesome. Am I right, Flame?
Oh, yeah.
However, if you played Far Cry 3, they introduced their main villain in almost the same way as they introduced the villain in Far Cry 3. In fact, it's an almost identical introduction with the same creepy looking you in the face, trying to get your little senses tingling. So I initially really liked how they introduced him with him singing Amazing Grace, but once I looked back on it and once I really watched it and compared it to how they introduced, was it Vaas in Far Cry 3? Once I looked back on it and really watched it over again, I saw myself saying, this is just rinse, wash, and repeat, I think you called it, Flame, earlier.
Yep.
I like their opening. Strong opening, if it's your first Far Cry game. And I think the setting, is this Montana, correct?
Yep.
The Montana setting is really strong. I'm a big nature guy. I love the outdoors. And I really liked their setting. Those were the two really big positives. That and their realistic-looking weapons. I really liked that. Flame, I'll let you go ahead and have the floor for just a moment. I'll let you have the floor for a moment. Tell us what you liked.
All right. Yeah, I agree with like everything you said there. However, Far Cry 5, I have to say, is the best environment a Far Cry has had for me. But the guns feel identical to the past games. The characters are strong, just like they were in the past games, and they kind of took 2 steps forward and a step back, or 2 steps back after a step forward, whatever that saying is. With everything about the mechanics, they took some bad things away, introduced some cool things, but then those cool things had some duds as well.
So give us a couple examples there.
Like, let's say, for example, they have a lot more characters in this game. They have a bunch that will kind of be in the world with you that you can hire for a gun for hire kind of setting or a mechanic. And I love that and everything, but it makes it feel like you only have those characters there. Like I go down the street and around the corner from one gas station to another in the world, and they are somehow beat me there, basically. It's always just them. And then with the enemies, it's the same thing. You can see the same 5 guys in front of you. That's one big thing I noticed. But...
Yep, one thing, I have to just branch off on that real quick. One thing I didn't like initially, and I'll elaborate more on this later when we get into the dislikes, but one thing I really didn't like was the enemies all looked the same. Very little variation in enemies. A lot of the enemy character models are like basically identical.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the character models for the enemies is great for those like little encounters, so those like 2 or 3 guys just walking down the road, but it's terrible for the outposts.
Yep, I agree with you.
Terrible.
Jdog, tell us some things you liked.
So I'll echo the sentiment that the environment and the locale is the best of the series. And I think for me, the reason is this is the most relatable environment for me. In Far Cry 3, I think you're in Africa, if I remember right, and then you're in the Himalayas in Far Cry 4.
Far Cry 2 was Africa.
Oh, what was Far Cry 3?
Where are you in Far Cry 3? The rainforest or something?
Yeah, it's a tropical environment.
Okay,
I'm
tropical.
Not sure where.
Okay, so it's these settings that personally I've never been to. So it's hard for me to feel connected to them. And so this setting, Montana, that's in the United States, that's where we're located. That's only a few states away from ours. And I've actually been there personally. And I've enjoyed it. And so I really connect with the setting. So I think that just for me, I really enjoyed.
Cool.
I know when you're on the island here initially, you're kind of running around. It's a really lifelike looking island, forest environment. The water effects are awesome. So I saw a lot of cool things with the environment that I really liked.
Fair.
I'll also echo that I thought the bad guy or bad guys were well done. I like the idea of a cult in this game for some reason, even though I'm usually anti-cults in most movies because they're so overdone. But I think the way that the main guy comes off here in this game is really good initially, and it sets up kind of a creep factor. And then he's got like his henchmen, his major henchmen that each control a different portion of the map.
Those big three.
And I think they each have their own personalities that are pretty cool, and pretty interesting as well. So,
how do you feel about my statement that he's just repeat of Vaas?
Well, Vaas was one of my favorite villains, so honestly, I'm fine with that. Just in the fact that I really loved him in Far Cry 3. I thought he made that game far better than it would have been without him.
He did. No question.
I thought the villain and almost the entire storyline of Far Cry 4 was beyond bad. I really, really struggled to get into Far Cry 4 and connect with almost anything in that game. So a return to anything that reminds me of Far Cry 3 from a storyline or villain perspective is a good thing for me. So I like this. I really like his vibe. You can kind of see it right here. He's almost like, he's so confident in himself that you can't help but sort of fall under his spell, even as the player watching. So I really liked his presentation. I love the fact that he has the 7 deadly sins scarred into his body. I thought that was really cool. So a lot of neat touches there.
I think if this is your first Far Cry, you're going, oh, wow, I got a gem.
Yeah, if this is your first Far Cry game, if you haven't played the other ones, there's no doubt that you're excited.
I agree.
And that you're thinking this is excellent. Because the presentation is excellent here. It really is. And very good graphically as well.
Flame, some more things that you liked about the game.
Some other things I really like is it's a little more realistic than the past ones. Like how you mentioned, you're not an Olympic athlete and you can't swim really fast. It's really slow and sluggish. And there's a lot more realistic things with like the buildings you can enter. They're set up like preppers. They call them in the game prepper
Stashes.
Prepper stashes, yeah. They feel really genuine. And I also really enjoyed how you can customize your own or get custom vehicles. Those are also pretty neat, but some good additions to the game. But then again, you got microtransactions controlling that, so I don't know if it's that great.
It's not.
I know this isn't for just the game itself. I love how they kind of have the Far Cry 3 aspect of what they're going to be doing with the game in the future, with the arcade, how it's weird. I saw that there's like a Biohazard, Resident Evil Biohazard reference in it, in the arcade, and the DLCs are going to be crazy, just like Blood Dragon was.
Well, good.
Other than that, though, there's not too many huge things I enjoyed. I love the writing. The writing of the character is phenomenal, just like in Far Cry 3 was. But yeah, if you're a veteran, I wouldn't say the game would be worth the $60 though. But if you're brand new to the series, it's $60 and you're gonna have a great time.
All right, let's talk about things we didn't like. I have a whole list. Flame, if you want to share a couple things that you strongly disliked about the game, I'd like to open it up to you for that. And then once you're done, I'm just going to go down this whole list of things I didn't like.
Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention, though, really quick, is the Ubisoft towers are gone, which is amazing. The things I disliked is, let's say, the AI can be dreadful. You can walk up to someone and try talking to them, but if like a badger walks past or a eagle flies by, they're gonna shut up and stop talking to you and like run away. or if you even like look down the scope or your iron sights while you're next to them, they just shut up and be like, what are you doing? That is terrible. And it feels kind of weird later in the game when the enemies are also more zombie-like. There's brainwashed zombies, that's all they really are, which is okay. There's some animations that could be fixed up, like the fish. They just kind of float there. They don't really be fish. And the weapons are just a repeat of the past games. They all feel like the past weapons. And they all kind of look the same too and sound just like they used to. And there are some graphical glitches, but they're not too terrible. For my experience, I'm playing on the PS4 Pro, and there's way too much graphics popping in for me. Like trees that pop in, foliage that pops in, and the repeat of the character models in like the cult outposts. Those are most of the things I dislike. I can't really think of anything else.
All right, cool, Flame. So I want to give Jdog just a moment here to witness this part. This is the introduction of our bad guy. You see it's very Vaas-like, with him in your face after the helicopter crash. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. I personally liked it the first time I saw it. Like I said, when I went back and watched it, it kind of was a turn-off for me, because I realized, it's just like you say, paint by the numbers. Same thing we've seen. So, all right. Let's go down the list of things I didn't like, and then Jdog, I'll open it up to you. Flame, I'm going to echo what you said with some animations. During the opening sequence of the game, during the opening tutorial, when I was swimming, I saw a fish jump on top of the water. I looked under the water, and that fish wasn't under the water. It was a top water animation. That's all it was. To me, that's lazy. We got Ubisoft behind this. It's one of the biggest game companies in the world. And that's lazy. There's no excuse for that. They lost big points for that when I realized that. And sure, maybe there's some fish in the rivers later on denoting like a fishing spot or something. But this is Montana. There should be trout. There should be bass. There should be all kinds of game fish in these waters. And the fact that they're not there is just lazy. Game design, as far as I'm concerned, from an outdoorsman standpoint.
You're playing on a perfectly capable PC too, that can render those fish.
Yes, more than capable PC. That is really disappointing. So I had a big issue with the glowing enemies, the ones that have like the gas surrounding them and circling them. Mm. Are they wearing a device that erodes that gas consistently, or is that just how they denote those shambling enemies?
It looks like it's an actual apparatus that just, they breathe that. That's what it looks like.
Okay.
Bliss is what they call it.
Well, whatever it is, I don't have such a problem with it then, if it's something that they actually wear that produces that gas around them. But when I initially saw it, I thought it was just how they showed the enemy by having that little green cloud float around them. That really turned me off at first, when I first saw that. But either way, the whole zombie-like enemy thing, this isn't Resident Evil. This isn't, The Evil Within. This isn't any of those games. So that's what that immediately reminded me of, and it immediately pulled me out of the realism of this Far Cry game. So it was kind of a turnoff for me. The AI in this game is abysmal. I'm going to use the word abysmal. It's terrible. Really, really bad AI. I took my shotgun and I shot at somebody's car, and they didn't respond. I then pulled out my bow, drew it back, and shot them in the head in their car. It's bad. It's downright pathetic, actually.
Yep.
I liked the guns for hire concept, but like you said, like somehow they magically got into my truck when I was driving full speed down the road. I didn't understand that. What's up with that? It would have been cool if they followed me with the car, which they did at one point. Then I had to load in, and then they're all of a sudden in the back of my truck.
Yeah.
Like,
And sometimes the AI just take random trucks too. Like even just some person walking down the street will take a truck, even if you just drove it up right next to him.
and it's like it seemed every corner I went around, like I would get stopped by this car of guys, I'd shoot them, and then I'd loot them. I'd go get in their truck to drive away, and then another truck of the exact same enemies would pull around the corner again.
Yep.
It's lazy. I don't care. It's lazy. It is. The gameplay is basically a repeat of everything you've played in Far Cry games already. So I'm going to echo it once more. If you haven't played Far Cry before, buy this game. If you've played Far Cry before, do not buy this game.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it has pretty graphics, it's basically Far Cry 3 with a different setting.
Yeah.
Microtransactions, I feel, have no place. If it's to speed up story progression, like, to me, that's just like, now you're just looking for an excuse to get people to spend more money in your game. I realize that it's a business decision. Being a businessman myself, it doesn't belong in this game. Microtransactions do not belong in this game. Somebody kind of defended it by saying it's all stuff you can grind out in-game without spending money. Then they don't belong in the game. I don't think they belonged here.
I agree, but thankfully they don't shove it in your face, though. They kind of mention it to you at one point at the beginning of the game, and then it kind of just is there,
yeah,
which is nice. But shouldn't be there.
You could very easily spend twice as much. You very easily spend double the price of this game, just buying the game and then buying one big stash of in-game currency. It's like, no.
Yep, and go straight to the final boss. Yep.
Yeah, don't support that. Stop doing that. Whatever. So microtransactions are hit or miss in this game. I guess some people will like them, and some people will be like me, and as soon as they see them, be immediately turned off by it. I said repeat gameplay, microtransactions. Okay, what's their obsession with the bow? I think we kind of mentioned this a couple times. Like, I'm okay with there being a bow in the game, but the bow in the, like, early, probably I would say first 4 to 8 hours, seems super OP.
Yeah, you can kill the heavy guys with it, even.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was one-shotting everybody no matter where I hit them.
Yep.
Which, I understand with the broadhead they would drop, because that's what you're shooting, but still, it wouldn't kill people in one shot, depending on where you hit them. So that I lost a little immersion there, being somebody that, shoots a bow. I don't think somebody would instantly die being shot in the leg or the thigh. So, little immersion breaking there. The bow is OP again. Could we get a new starting weapon, a new silent weapon? Give me something new. Give me a blowgun. Give me anything. Anything different than a bow. I'm tired of the bow.
Yeah. I mean, they have the throwing knives, but that's like it's a consumable weapon practically.
Yeah,
it's not even a weapon.
But it's not your starting silent weapon, basically.
No.
That's what I was looking for. I was looking for something different, and I didn't get it. Remember that first quest we did where we had to save the guy in the dock? I shot the one guy, and then I shot the girl at the start of the dock, and we went over there, and he hadn't loaded in. Then we went and did something else and came back, and he magically loaded in, and we talked to him. Yep. Some characters failed to load. Some quest characters failed to load. That was a disappointment for us. When I shot the rocket launcher, the burn from the rocket imprinted on the screen for a while after I shot it, no matter where I looked. That was annoying. The subtitles stayed on the screen during conversation. Remember that, Jdog?
Yep.
Some of the subtitles froze on the screen for a while. That was annoying. It's all stuff that should be cleared up for a $60 title day one. Like you were saying, random animals walking in during conversations can interrupt those conversations. And I understand, like for me, if you really wanted somebody to react realistically, let's say I just saved a camp, and these guys got guns now, and they're readying up to defend themselves. They're becoming the resistance, right? So First of all, my thought is if I go to talk to one of these guys and a badger shows up, the guy would tell me, oh, hold on a second, turn and shoot the badger. And then go back to the conversation with me. See, that's how it should play out. That's how it should have played out. But it didn't.
Absolutely.
They stop the conversation, get scared, cower, and run. Mm-hmm. They should just turn, shoot the badger, and continue the conversation. Mm-hmm. It's lazy. And it's nothing new. They're not being innovative. They're just force-feeding people the same crap. Another thing I was really weirded by is during the very first camp I saved, the very first place I liberated, the people that I saved that are now supposed to be freedom fighters, resistance, pick up shovels and start building gardens and digging random holes and stuff. They should be picking up guns, loading up guns, and getting ready to fight. I thought we were trying to take back the island, not just sit there and twiddle our frickin' thumbs.
Absolutely.
Or am I taking this too seriously? Am I taking this too far? Am I out of line?
I don't think so.
No, it seemed like sometimes the way the game wants to be like this action sort of like, you know, get in there and be this action game, and then it has players or characters within the game acting like it's just a ho-hum, another day on the ranch sort of day, is kind of, it's tonally at odds with itself in a lot of ways sometimes.
It has some really good sequences. This opening shooting sequence, I like this opening sequence. It introduced everything in the game. ATVs, truck chases, airplanes, dynamite. I love this whole opening sequence. This was fun. This showed you that they have this place on lockdown. This was good. Flame, so you can understand what's going on, I'm showing kind of the whole opening, my first episode in the background as we do this discussion, just so you know kind of what we're chatting about.
Okay.
And so this was all really solid. But then it immediately diverts from this. And it just goes back to go from here to here, kill these guys, take this over, kill these guys, take this over, kill these guys, take this over, find this person, steal this intel, kill this person, kill the bad guy, win the game. Same old shit. Nothing new.
Yeah. I'm at a point in the game right now. I'm taking the bottom one. I'm taking that area. That's the part I'm working on right now. And there's like a progress bar you're getting. Every civilian you save, every place you liberate, every silo you blow up, every gasoline tanker truck you blow up, you get a little bit more progress there. And at random points, the enemy of that area, the controller, I forget his name, it's something Seed, he kidnaps you with a bliss bullet, is what they call it, out of just nowhere. And the cutscenes are phenomenal, but it feels so random and weird and out of place that it just takes you there. No matter where you are. You could be on the moon and you'd still find your way in that cutscene somehow.
Interesting.
I
want to turn it over to Jdog for a couple of minutes if that's all right. Jdog, in your time with me, we did an episode together. In your time with me, what were your thoughts on what you saw?
Well,
give us what annoyed you.
You know, one of the things I really enjoyed about Far Cry 3, for instance, was a lot of the tower climbing and unlocking the world and feeling like you didn't know, as much about the place as you should have or you wanted to. And you had to discover it on your own, and it felt like they took that out of here a lot. I enjoyed that part of it. So that was a little bit of a letdown for me. I didn't like how we climbed the tower, but because we weren't on that part of the quest, we couldn't actually do anything. And we had to go back and climb it, so it felt really weird initially. And I think probably what this game suffers from is what a lot of games suffer from in today's marketplace, is they try to be everything to everyone. And you can almost see this incorporating elements of Metal Gear 5, where it tries to be some sort of recruit and hire sort of guys, and I mentioned in our play like SOCOM, where you're trying to give
Yeah.
AI
Give 'em directions, yeah.
directions and commands when you're trying to sneak up on enemies. So I felt very odd with that. And sure, is it new for the series? Yes, but for me, it just didn't feel like it was gonna work. And again, it's trying to be a guns for hire game. It's trying to incorporate zombies, where these guys are like, high up on drugs, and they're acting like zombies, the enemy. So it's trying to have like that creep factor going on. It's trying to be some form of, survival type game, and then on top of that, you end up in this massive open world, and it seems like there's so many things going on. You have quest overload, or you have, tedium overload, where there's so many different things that you can do at one time.
You don't want to do any of it.
That you almost think, okay, what should I be focused on? And so this game has ADD. And
That's a good way to put it.
It inspires ADD in its players, I think. Just like you said, I blew up a truck and I turned around to go somewhere else, and there's another fucking truck driving around the corner. And it's like, holy man. So that, I think, is where I kind of get that, just why not pick a few things and be really good at them? And I thought that's what Far Cry 3 did really excellent. And as the games have kind of grown in popularity and expanded, they've tried to put more and more things in to appeal to more and more players. And so to a player like me, they don't appeal at all. So
I remember Far Cry 2 was kill bad guys, get diamonds, buy better shit. Kill more bad guys.
Yep.
That was Far Cry 2.
Yep.
And I liked it. I played the hell out of it.
Yep.
Far Cry 2, to me, felt more realistic than any of these. Because you really did feel all alone, fighting on your own there to save that place. You had to take pills to stave off malaria. You had to take your knife and pry bullets out of your arm if you didn't have any healing left, which, fine. And the weapons broke, and shit broke down. Like, you'd be shooting a weapon, all of a sudden it'd blow in half, and it would just be done. Because you put enough rounds to a gun, it's going to start failing. I liked it. I don't see that here. I just see, like you said, same old shit.
Well, it's like, more and more and more layered on top of each other. And so you have a game that is like 20 games in one. And
it ends up getting in its own way.
In a lot of ways, I feel that. Yes, I feel that it gets in its own way. And you're not really sure what the experience is that you're supposed to be having anymore. And so that's where I struggle with it the most. And it's too bad, because I actually really like the environment.
The environment is beautiful.
And the environment immediately captures my interest. And the storyline and the bad guy immediately captures my interest. So when I actually get my hands on it and play it, to have the turnoff like that is disappointing, because I would have liked, I think I would have liked to have seen this be a better experience.
I agree.
You always hope with the next iteration in a series that they're going to kind of return to what you loved about it in the first place. And unfortunately, I didn't see that here. It's like something that I kind of feel happening in the Tomb Raider series as well. Assassin's Creed suffers from it. I feel Tomb Raider is suffering from it. And, Metal Gear Solid specifically really suffered from it, in my opinion. Where the games have gone away from the stealth that really made them famous, and now they're almost like action shooters. And yes, they may appeal to more people that way, but I guess it's just not the experience I'm expecting. So that's kind of what I'm left with coming out of the game.
Dr. Flame,
Yeah.
your comments?
Overall, well, just to add on to what you said, Jdog, I feel like games should innovate, kind of like how Monster Hunter did. They innovated a ton and made something much better than how good it was in the past. But I agree with you there. But my comments on the game entirely is, if you're new, I would definitely pick it up if it's your first Far Cry game. But if you're not, I'd pick it up like on sale when it's dirt cheap around Christmas this year. It's
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a bad game. Like, it plays fine. It looks fine, you know. So, you know, from the technical aspects of it, it's perfectly fine and perfectly serviceable.
I agree.
It just depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You know, and as long as you understand what you're buying, I think this is something you can wait on. You know, I mean, if you pay $20 for this, you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get what, 50, 60 hours out of this?
Easily.
If you want to play through it and do a lot of the side missions, I think you could get that type of time out of this. So for $20, it's great. I just don't want to spend $60 on something that, to me, really is a gloss of paint over the same fence, if that makes sense.
Well said. Well said. I was talking to Dealer tonight, and of course, he has this game.
He got this?
Of course, him and his father bought this game. So they do the Xbox share, right?
Sure.
They do the share with the Xbox. And then they went halvesies on the digital deluxe. So they both got the game for $30 or $40 each. Which, you know, that's fine. And they're playing through it together. So I could see that being fun.
Yeah. You know, the co-op in this actually looked pretty fun until I realized that only one person gets the progress.
What?
So...
Wait, really?
I'm pretty sure. Flame, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
I honestly have no idea either.
But my understanding is that only the main player gets progress. You know, the other player may get experience, but he doesn't get progress in the missions. So it almost feels like Dark Souls style co-op, where you invite somebody, and that invitee is just there to be your helper.
That's unfortunate.
So, as a co-op gamer, and as somebody that would probably play this in co-op, that's definitely a turnoff for me, personally.
Huge turnoff. Huge turnoff.
And again, I could be mistaken on that. We did not try the co-op, so I'm going off of what I've heard, I've read.
If that is the case, it's at least one solid point deduction just for that.
So I'm honestly trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Like
why would they
both
do
players can't achieve mission success. Again, I could be completely wrong.
Yeah,
on that.
we easily could be wrong, and if we are, that's fine. Then we.
I would hope I am, because it just doesn't make sense to me
Sounds
at all.
stupid.
Like, why you would do that? Why would you ever want to be the invited player and not gain progress?
You know, some people just want to play together.
Well, I do want to play together. I just want to get progress for
I
it.
don't want to waste my time. See, look, we couldn't hit that switch. What a joke. Flame, your final thoughts on the game.
My final thoughts is, it's gorgeous. It's definitely worth it if you're new in the series. But if you've been around for a while, I'd give it a little wait, because you're going to be playing the same game, just like Call of Duty, for the brand new AAA title price tags.
So if you've played Far Cry, you're a wait for sale. If you haven't played it before, you're jump in and have fun.
110% right there, yep.
Jdog, your final thoughts on the game.
Yep, I'm on the same boat. If you say, hey, I haven't tried Far Cry yet, and would this be a good place to try it? Yes. You have my blessing. Go ahead, pick it up. You're going to have fun. Tons of stuff to do. Awesome set pieces. Great environment. Great bad guy. Great storyline from a, character perspective with some of the cult leaders. I really like it. I'm with Flame. I played Far Cry 3 basically 100% of the game.
You did 100% the game.
And I was like, okay, I had a great experience with that. But now here we go, Far Cry 4, Far Cry 5. They put a couple new little mechanics in, they change a thing or two, sell you the same thing repackaged for $60. So, you got to decide if that's what you're willing to pay your money for. If you are, and you know what you're buying, it's your decision. But you know, for me, I need a little more to justify a $60 price tag. I'm at $20 for this game if you've played Far Cry 3 or Far Cry 4.
My title for this review is going to tell you exactly how I feel about this game. Now, let me finish before anybody says anything. Far Cry 5 sucks unless there's an unless in there. If you haven't played Far Cry before, I think this is awesome. And I think that this would be a great first experience with the Far Cry series. If you've played Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3, Far Cry Primal, Far Cry 4, this game sucks. It literally does nothing new.
They're reselling you the same game in a different environment.
Literally the same game. And
please understand that.
And it is really, it's depressing to see that. And it is what happens when gamers don't stand up for themselves.
Yep.
You know, you can say, and here's an example of where we broke the game and the guy didn't show up. But either way, you can say, well, you only played 2 hours, you only played 4 hours, you only played this long or that long. And sure, you can say that, but it doesn't change my opinion of the game playing it for 100 hours and seeing this for 100 hours. Seeing what I saw in episode 3 or episode 4 for 100 hours. Like, it doesn't change my opinion of the game. My opinion of the game is not going to change when I see the same exact stuff I've seen in 3, 4, Primal, blah, blah, blah. And that bothers me, because to me it feels like the majority of gamers are just accepting of that. That bothers me. And that's why we do these no BS reviews. That's why we call it like it is, right down the middle. Yeah, there's a lot that I liked that I saw here, but there's also a lot that I didn't like about this game. My final rating for this game is, just like I said, middle of the road, 5 out of 10. Only buy if you've never played Far Cry before. 2, 3, 4, or Primal. If you've played any of those, wait for a very, very deep sale.
Yep, I'm $20 for this game.
$15 to $25 maximum. $25 is like, if you see it for $25 and you're bored, go ahead, you can play it. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be spending much more than that. Because I just see, like you said, same thing, couple new assets, repackaged, new location. Give us your money, we don't care about you. We damn sure don't care enough about you to give you something new and innovative like maybe 2 was or 3 was initially.
That's where I'm at with it.
I'd like to hear your thoughts down below in the comments for this video. Let us know what you think about Far Cry 5. Let us know what you thought about our breakdown of this game. And I want to thank Dr. Flame for joining us for this No BS review. Dr. Flame, thank you so much for taking some time out of your night to just go over things with us here. I know, you and I were both kind of discussing this in the YouTube contacts chat. And initially, I know you were really excited about this game, and I was surprised to hear you come back and say not impressed. Kind of like I said to you initially. That really surprised me because I know you were very excited for this game. But I think that we've had some great dialogue about it. I think that we've discussed everything there is to discuss about this game. And I'm just wondering, before we close the video here, is there anything else you'd like to say about Far Cry 5?
No, not really. Even if you bought the game like I did with the season pass and the free copy of Far Cry 3, it's still something I'd wait for.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I agree with you. I'm Neil with the Balding Plebs. I'm joined here tonight by my brother,
Jdog,
and our channel patron and superstar subscriber,
Dr. Flynn.
Thank you all so much for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed this review, and we'll see each and every one of you right here next time for more gameplays, live streams, no BS reviews, and content like this.
Good night, everyone.
GG, ya plebs.